Hello and welcome to another League of Legends replay. Little replay is doing something weird, so the replay might look a little different, but I guess it might be interesting to see it from, like, you can easily see what I've leveled up and what I have not leveled up. And it does this random attempting to reconnect. I don't know why it does that either. Anyway, today we're playing Xin Zhao. I started off at 1629 ELO and ended up at 1642 ELO. And so far it's the only game I played today. Of course I started the Hunter's Machete plus 5 health pots. Usually it's the best you can start in the jungle, the best choice. There are a couple alternatives, like you could sometimes start Boots, that's more of an all-in strategy. Other times you can start, let's see, besides Boots, you could start on Xin Zhao. It's actually, I've seen people start Dagger, which is gives you attack speed. That's not bad on him. Let's see, what else could you start? That's probably about it. Cloth 5 health pots is another option on certain champions. Here I didn't get enough of a leash to do the smite list, so I smited. And that's just to save me some health and health pots, which is like health. And you saw that I chugged health pots right away, and that's just to keep my health high in case they invaded or something like that. It's always good to try to keep yourself topped off in the jungle. Just try to ignore the random attempting to reconnects. This person's just saying, oh, you guys get to see the chat too. This person's telling them that they should get the skin for Tryndamere. Anyway, so I'm continuing to clear out my jungle and doing the race right now. My intention here is, you can see here, can't really gank mid that well. Maybe if I came back through here, I can successfully gank mid. So that's one consideration. And I can also potentially gank top. So these are the two things I'm considering to do. So I only have one health pot. Again, you got to make sure that you stay topped off in the jungle, so that when you gank, you'll be at full health and you can't, potentially die. I'm thinking about trying to gank top, and maybe I should have gone right away after my getting the golems, because I think Tryndamere dies here. But I didn't really expect him to die, and I thought it was just going to be at the turret, so he basically died for no reason. I was thinking about going around and trying to kill him, but then I realized how many creeps there were, so I decided against it. And I just make sure I get as much CS here as possible. If you let the cannon attack, or the turret here attack 2 times, then you can get all the that was right, actually. I was thinking that I did something wrong there, but I didn't. And I missed 1 CS here, I think. But yeah, so and as far as the range creeps, it's just one attack, and then you gotta finish it off. Here, this guy Darren should have gone back, and he didn't, so that was a mistake on his part. And he should have just realized that I could come back around and he didn't have wards, so that's just something to consider. That was good on Tryndamere's part, and as soon as he flashes, I flash after him. And I didn't use orb walking, which is you attack and then you auto, then you attack and then you auto, etc. Sorry, you attack and then you move. So that's just something you should do to make sure you get the maximum amount of auto attacks off. And I have 2 options here. I can clear up my jungle some more, or try to gank mid, and they're both good options. I was thinking I could do both, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to clear out this jungle on the way to attacking mid. How do I get rid of this? Oh, sweet. Okay, nice. So you can also see where I'm moving, except that I hit right click, so the second part of this move is not correct. It's interesting. Attempting to reconnect again. So here I elected for not doing the race. Instead I decided to go for a gank. You see that I didn't go on Annie as soon as I saw her. I waited for her to go up on this this range creep, and somehow that went straight through him. And I thought we were gonna get the kill, so I backed out. But I think that was either, I don't know. I think it was probably right to back out, just because I assumed that Anivia would have gotten the kill there, but she didn't, so that's okay. Because also, if I had gone like maybe another 2 seconds in, I definitely would have died to the Cho'Gath gank. So, trading Annie's flash for free is usually pretty good. I think Anivia also flashed there. And here my thought is, again, I've said this before, if your lane leaves, then you should definitely cover it and take the XP and gold. The thing that you need to consider is that you don't want the lane to, like, for instance, like freeze right here when they get back. So you really need to push harder than I was pushing, or not push at all. Just try for last hits. And I just basically kind of screwed him a little bit. And I'm happy if Annie wants to, waste mana on me, because like I don't mind taking a bit of damage. I have to be careful because she can burst me down once she gets 6, and she didn't use Ignite. So that's just something I need to be aware of. And once I get this low, it's like pretty dangerous to stick around. So I really do need to go back. Unfortunately, I did exactly what I said before, that this is just, she can just freeze it here, and that's really bad for Anivia. So Anivia should try to push it in, just so that she doesn't have to spend all her time right in the middle and potentially get ganked. So I went back. I have 16k gold, so I go ahead and get Madrids, and I want boots. And I was considering not getting the Wriggles Lantern, but because Madrids is actually, I've heard people say that Spirit Stone is better than Madrids. As far as for auto attackers, it's really not. I know that getting the Lantern is a lot more expensive. It's like 900 versus the 500 for the Spirit Stone. So if you're just comparing those two, then and you need the gold, or like you need to be more gold efficient, then you should get the Spirit Stone, like if you're behind or something. Spirit Stone is a pretty good choice. But Madrids is only 400, so if you are doing auto attacking, it's going to do more damage to like if you're like pretty reasonable auto attacker, then Madrids is usually a better choice. Actually, you can still choose this item when you're behind. You just have to be aware. Here I was hoping that Anivia would bait him into like coming up this way, and I also see that we can get a kill on Annie. Unfortunately, Anivia doesn't have a lot of mana. That's the only issue here. And I don't use my what's it called right away. Oh, and I shouldn't have used my R right away. So that was just, if I had used my R right away, I would have gotten a kill for sure. So that was a mistake on my part. Yeah, so if I messed it up, and I shouldn't have gone in as hard as I did. So basically, I was back here. I went, I saved my E. So you saw that was right, because you can just walk up to them, and then that way that they can't like stun you and walk away. So that's why your E is a good gap closer, and if you're behind them, then you don't need to use your E. So that's why I didn't use my E, but I didn't use my R right away, which was my mistake, because the R does a percentage of their current health. So it would have done a lot more damage if I used it before, and I think we could have secured the kill. Also, I didn't animation cancel. So yeah, that was definitely a doable kill, but I just messed up on the implementation of the kill. So again, I'm cleaning out my jungle. I need Anivia to come down so I can give her blue. Now, if you get blue as a mid laner, you should make sure you don't die, because it's like really bad, because the jungler is giving you gold. Gold and XP. He's like giving that up for your blue, and if you just die after getting the blue, then the jungler's not going to want to give you blue again. So oftentimes, as a jungler, you can say, okay, this guy's not. You have to think, can this guy use blue well? And so that your considerations are, is he just going to die? Has he been feeding a lot? In that case, you don't want to give him blue. Is he just trying to get last hits under the tower? In that case, again, he doesn't need blue. So those are, is he like a mana loss champion, and a resourceless champion? In that case, you consider not giving him blue. And I thought I hadn't killed the last lizard there, but I had, so that's why I made a slight mistake on my part there. Here I'm going to try to gank Garen, but he had already left, so I should have just gone straight for my minions instead of trying to go for this gank. It was pretty obvious that he had gone back, so yeah, I shouldn't have done that. I think I missed maybe 4 or 5 creeps there, and the canyon creep, which is really good to get, so definitely should have just gone straight to the lane there. That was a mistake. Yeah, so the reason I went here, or I thought it was okay to go here, is because the last time I was up here, he had just stayed in this brush. So that's why I thought he was going to do it again, but he didn't. And, it would have been pretty stupid for him to do that. So that's why that was the wrong play there. I saw that Anivia went bot, and I was considering going bot myself. As you can see, it's a 4v3. Does he get the kill here? Nope. So yeah, that was just really bad. It was just like poor execution. And even if I went bot, let's see, is anyone really low? I can't really see the health bars because it's like low replays being weird. Anyway, so I don't think I could have done anything if I had gone bot right away. So instead, I do the smarter play, which is to get this turret. I could have turned this into a 4v4, but by the time I got there, it would have been like a like 4v2 in favor of them. So I get the best thing that I can get, which is a turret. So, you know, that's just something you consider. It's not always best to go straight to the fight. You know, you can sometimes, you know, realize that, you know, that the fight has already lost, and in that case, you should just secure the best things that you can. For instance, let's say they were doing dragon, which they had been doing right there. If they're doing dragon and you can't stop it, for instance, they're a lot stronger or you guys are low, you can just take mid tower or take some tower, you know, and that's about equivalent to a dragon. So you turn something that was basically a loss into a less bad loss. So that's just something to consider. Garen is overextending a lot, and I don't think he's buying that many wards, so this is a big mistake. See, he has a ward. I'm pretty sure he didn't place it, or else like he should have placed it here. And so that was a pretty big mistake on his part. Here I flash and use my R to knock him back to secure the kill. I don't think that was necessary. I think an ERQ would have been fine. So I just was trying to be fancy, I guess, and I flashed into this brush so that when he was running down here, my R would knock him back into this. So you saw what happened, but it was totally unnecessary, and I wasted a flash basically. So that's just something you should consider. Don't, you know, waste summoners, because they help you, really can mean the difference between a kill and not a kill. So, you know, again, you should secure the kill when possible, but at the same time, don't waste summoners. So, you know, it's hard to say, is there a rule for that or anything like that, but you'll sort of like get a better idea of that as you play and understand like when you can kill, when you need to use a flash, and when you can save a flash. I was hoping we could steal blue, but blue wasn't there. I should have got, when Trinimir went to do these wolves and I saw that blue wasn't there, I should have gone back right away. So that was just a mistake on my part. And here I'm finishing off my wriggles and getting a, what's it called? A giant spell. And that's really important to give me a large boost in survivability. It's like slightly less than a 25% increase in health. And I get a null magic mantle, which is also pretty good. And I'm intending to turn that into my level 2 Merc Treads, so that's also a pretty important item to pick up, because he needs to be able to move around and gap close and stuff like that. I would definitely like to go on them, and so I'm just waiting back here so Easy can get in range. So as soon as, I don't think they saw me, so I just wait for Easy to get back in range, and Annie thinks that it's okay to kill Easy, so she just walks up to him, and I come back down and, you know, get the kill off on him. There I use my R right away, so we easily secure that kill, and we can take out this turret right now. So that was just this ward being very useful, in that we saw that Annie wanted to go back and try to fight Easy, and as soon as I see her, you know, come around this corner, as she's coming around, like you saw, I didn't like charge up too early or too late. So I waited back here, and then as she was coming around this corner like this, I timed that so that I could come up and jump on her as soon as she was in range, so that she couldn't just back out by walking away. Before I had said that I had guessed at the dragon timer, and I think it was 17 minutes, so I knew that we couldn't do dragon. One thing that our team does wrong in this game is that we don't really control the lanes very well. So you see that Garen keeps being able to push in these towers, which is a big mistake. And also they get free mid towers. So that's just something that we'd been doing wrong. Garen dies there. And we could have fought this if Tarek hadn't gone up. So that was a mistake on his part. Like, we didn't need him to try to help us like do that. And you saw that there's also 2 bots. So another thing you should do is, you know, let's say you see 2 here, like we saw right there. You should definitely make sure that you check the map for the rest of the players and be very cautious about going in if you don't know where they are. I'm pinging blue because I saw Annie come down through this river, and a lot of times the mage or the jungle are aware that that it's possible to steal blue, and it's a big change in gold and XP if you do so, and it really hurts the enemy team. We were just waiting for their team to go in, and I couldn't really see what was going on in this fight. I'm kind of had too much caffeine before this fight, so I couldn't really click on stuff and got really confused in the team fights, and that's unfortunate. But I don't know. I just should keep that in mind when I'm playing. And I'm just trying to animation cancel. There, I missed a animation cancel, and I'm moving. I was trying to bait him back in, but I don't think I didn't have enough mana, as you saw, for another audacious charge, so there was no way I could go Bane. Either Anivia had to just go in and try to get him, and that's kind of another reason why I went backwards, is that if you do this, they think it's okay to not run all the way back, or they just try to back. So for instance, let's say I'm here. This is where I was, and Vayne was here, so there's no way I could catch you, right? If I just start clearing these creeps, or make it very clear that I'm walking back, and for instance, if Anivia is here, she can sneak in back this way and sometimes get the kill, because Vayne might be greedy and try to back right here. So if you can't get the kill and you have other teammates closing in, then you should just make it clear that you're going to go back and give your teammates a chance to get that kill, instead of just chasing after them, making it very clear to them that you can't stop them, or that people are still trying to hunt them. Here I could have gone on Garen, but it's pretty risky. He has you can see how many items he has. I didn't have my ulti up, so that's another thing. And I just don't do as much damage as he does. So that's just something you should check. You should check pretty consistently. Check what items they have. So he had a brutalizer and a sunfire cape. To basically my Wriggle's lantern, and that's all I had. Basically Wriggle's lantern. That's my only completed item. So yeah, he was a lot stronger than me. He had another level. So just be aware, okay, these are times when I can fight, and these are times when it's definitely not right to fight. One great thing that Wriggle's Lantern does is it gives you a lot of control over Dragon. So also I shouldn't have used my E to dash into the Dragon, because it prevented me from using it later on. And Tryndamere, I didn't realize he was going to do this. He just dived into their whole team, but it was definitely the right move, because we get four people there. Here I messed up my autos. I should have been attacking Annie, and instead I attacked her bear, so that was just a big mistake on my part. But we managed to secure these kills. If I had correctly used my autos, I think we would have gotten probably an ace there, or we would have gotten a 4 kills, because Garen was up top. And again, as I had said before, we're not really controlling our lanes, so this was pushing, so he managed to get a free tower off of that. But still, we came out ahead. We got 2 or 3 kills, I believe, and a dragon, so that was good. But we just didn't implement it right, and that that's going to happen a lot in a lot of your games. You'll realize you made a suboptimal play, but that's okay. You should just be okay, I made a suboptimal play, and we're just going to keep going with that. So the next item I pick up is a Sunfire Cape. It's a great item. It gives you quite a bit of health for its cost. It's obviously not the best item for health, which is I believe the most cost-effective, and anyone can correct me if I'm wrong, is Warmogs. I believe it gives you the most effective health, for one item. So a lot of items give you things that aren't necessarily. So the reason I'm saying that is this one gives you it gives you effective health in health and armor, but it also gives you a little bit of damage. So not all the cost of this item is going towards health, whereas almost all the cost of Warmogs is going towards health, or effective health items. This item is actually very, very strong in teamfights. So as you can see, against a single target, it does 40 damage, and let's say they have 50% reduction, it's going to only do 20 damage. But if you're against, and that's not uncommon to believe that would be the case. So let's see, Annie has, damn it, I didn't get to click on him. Okay, let's say Anivia. Let's say I was facing off Anivia. She had more than Annie, as you saw before, and she has 47% magic reduction. So this would do about 20 damage per second to her. But against the whole team, if you're in the middle of the team, it does 200 damage per second and whatever magic resist they have. So if you're in a team fight, this becomes a very, very strong damaging item. It increases your DPS by 200, which is amazing. I mean, obviously it's slightly less than that, but you get my idea, the gist of this argument. Here they get caught. They should have been not doing that. I don't know exactly what they're doing. And I went in and used my R, trying to save whoever I could. That was like pretty safe for me to do that. So that was just me attempting to do that. Maybe I probably should have saved my R for later on. And I used my smite there to kill Tibbers, and that was to make sure that they had to tank the tower. So here these guys are pretty low, and I thought it would have been okay to fight them, but Garen comes back and I just die for it. So I should have definitely either gone on Vayne or not gone in at all. So like obviously killing Cho'Gath wasn't happening, and I get us both killed and give them the turret and the inhib. So again, this is something I said in a bunch of things. Like for instance, if you're here and this tower's still up, but there's 5 of them, don't stick around here. They can just dive on you. So that's a big mistake that a lot of people make. If I had not gone in on Cho'Gath and just waited for my team to come up, we almost certainly would have not lost this inhibitor. And so like, you can make a bad situation into a much worse situation by trying to be over aggressive. The next item I want to get is the Black Cleaver. It gives you a lot of damage. There's a bunch of different choices that you can get on him. Items I like a lot are Wriggle's Lantern for the sustain. You have to make sure that they don't have too much CC, or Wriggle's Lantern can be really bad because they'll just keep stunning you, or if they have a kite team, like these guys kind of do have a kite team, they don't play it right. They should be kiting us, but they don't. So that's kind of why we do pretty well in this game, because they don't understand that they should be kiting us. But against this team, Wriggle's Lantern is going to be pretty bad. It does give us a lot of Baron control and Dragon control, so that's its advantage outside of team fights, but it's going to be bad in team fights if they kite us or they have a lot of CC, which they don't have a ton of CC. Here my team was kind of arguing with me about doing Baron, and it's definitely the right choice. And the reason it's the right choice, I don't know why they did this. Like he flashed, and there's no way we were going to catch Garen because he has a move speed buff. But so basically what I was thinking here was, okay, first of all, we have 2 wards, so we can see if they're going to try to stop us. Second of all, they were all very low and had to go back to base, and we saw some people come down here. We saw Vayne down there, so they couldn't bring enough manpower to stop us. And thirdly, we really needed to make a risky play because you saw that we lost our inhib, and we're down like, let's see, 1, 2, 3. We're down 3 turrets and an inhibitor. So we do need to start making risky plays to try to get back in the game. As soon as I see this happening, I'm like, okay, so I stop what I'm doing and I run right away because Tryndamere gets caught. And the nice thing about Tryndamere is that I flash there to make sure we secure the kill on Garen and knock him back with my R. So you saw that. But yeah, the nice thing about Tryndamere, as I was saying before, is that a lot of times people will overextend. There I'm just waiting on for the right time to jump in with my E. And here we're just trying to clean up all these kills. You got to be a little careful while doing this that they don't turn around and kill you. So that's just something to keep in mind. And obviously I don't go on him. I try to get on Cho'Gath or Vayne. Vayne would be a lot more preferable than Cho'Gath. And I messed up. I stopped moving. This is just something that I do a bunch sometimes. And I go on Vayne again, not Cho'Gath, because Vayne's a lot more important to kill than Cho'Gath. I don't really know what Vayne did there. I think she could have gotten away if she... Well, I had my dash up in like a second, so I would have... She was almost certainly dead, but she made it a lot easier for us to get the kill. We could have gotten this turret if we went right away in on it, I believe. Let's see. No, I mean, everyone on their team's up, so Dragon was definitely the right choice. So again, you can just check... Use tab, which lets you see the death timers on the enemy team, so that you can understand what you should be doing in team fights. For some reason, Tark is getting all this farm instead of other people that actually need it, but that's okay. And again, the next item I said I was going to get is the Brutalizer, so going back and trying to get that. I don't have enough gold for it. I have enough gold for the Brutalizer, but not the Black Cleaver, so that's what I'm doing here. And then I'm heading out. and I'm just trying to farm up for my Black Cleaver as soon as possible. It's going to give me a lot of effective damage. So as you can see, I have basically all these items do damage, and I should have maybe considered getting more defensive items in this game because one, we're behind, so that's just something you should realize, like that when you're behind, you do need to build some defensive items. But if you're really, really far behind, you actually don't want to build defensive items. And the reason for this is that if you build, this is actually a good fight for us. I'm just, again, you saw it, I'm just waiting for my team to get ready, and I went in a little too fast. And I'm just focusing down Annie because Tibbers is like really strong. And I thought they were still focusing on me, so that's why I went back. I should have kept auto-attacking. That's what I did wrong in that fight, and I was killing like a super minion a bunch, so I played that fight pretty poorly there. We could have definitely gotten an ace there. So that was like a pretty big mistake on my part. But what was I saying before? Oh yeah, so there, I was saying here, when I went in, I should have just, what I really needed to keep an eye on was Anivia and EZ. And they are the main damage dealers, so you really need to make sure that they're in position before you go in. Here I'm happy to tank this tower to make it a little bit faster, so as you can see, no one's up on their team yet, so we might have a chance of doing some damage on this, but we decide not to. Annie's not up, but everyone else on their team is up, so it's a little risky. One thing that we could have done here is camp them in this bush. It's a little risky if we don't have wards, but if we get this kill, we're definitely going to get an inhib off. So I think, again, as I said before, I'm pretty sure we're like a little bit behind. So we're definitely down in kills, and we're probably ahead in dragons and Baron, but we're down in towers and we don't have an inhib. So that was just something we could have considered. Unfortunately, this was going on, so all our lanes were getting pushed. So this is a big problem we're having in this game, is that we're not controlling our lanes. So it makes it difficult for us to do objectives and stuff like that when lanes are pushing. Here, Anivia doesn't have mana, and I thought she did, so that's why I went in. So yeah, that was just a mistake on my part. I shouldn't have gone in there realizing it was a 4v5, and our team needed to really go hard on Vayne, and unfortunately Tryndamere goes hard on Annie. So that that was unfortunate. And we took too long trying to kill like Vayne and Cho'Gath, so they managed to get 3 free kills there basically. Luckily, Tryndamere is paying attention. I don't know, he shouldn't have gone back in there. That was just, poor execution on his part. And definitely, like, a bad idea on my part to not realize what was going on. And so we get aced, and it was just like a poor execution and bad decision-making on our part. Here they can get an inhib, and possibly a turret if they try really hard for it. But luckily, Tarek and I are going to be up in like a second. So I'm up and Tarek's going to be up in another second. So basically what I want to do here is be careful, because if all 3 of them focus me, they can kill me. But I also don't want them to, get an inhibitor. So I actually get a free flash out from, what's it called? Oh, that was almost a kill. It was very close. From Nunu. And then that's it. I'm trying to catch up with them. I didn't flash there because even though I was in range, I didn't have a dash up, so that would have not done anything. And I'm just trying to use my dash to catch up to them. Unfortunately, they had a Nunu and they had a what's it called? The thing that builds from the Fellstone. Shoot, I can't remember names for some reason. Anyway, the thing that speeds people up. So yeah, like it was like pretty difficult to catch up to them. I probably wasn't, but so that's just a little trick that you can do. You can use your enemy creeps if you have some sort of thing that only dashes to enemy creeps. So like another example is Akali. She can dash to enemy creeps and sort of like try to use that to catch up to people. We definitely need wards on Baron, and it's good that we have them, because if they get Baron, we're probably going to lose unless they like misplay pretty significantly. So that's just something to consider. And Nunu is warding Baron just because he's worried about us doing it. And at this point, an Oracle's is definitely a good choice, and also clearing out all the waves is definitely a good choice. So Tryndamere asked him to get an Oracle, so that's very useful. The reason that the Oracle is so useful isn't that you know, it lets you necessarily do Baron, because a lot of times they'll realize that you're trying to do Baron. What is useful about it is it lets you bait Baron. So the enemy team has to try to stop you from doing Baron, and if they don't, they lose basically. So if, for instance, they had an Oracles, we probably would have lost here because they could have done Baron for free. So that's just why Baron or Oracles is useful. And again, I just wait for my team. Just got to be patient in team fights before I go in. Tryndamere gets in the back line and takes out Annie. And I'm just trying to get in and slow, I'm really trying to get on Vayne, but you know, if that's not possible, I'll just get on whoever I can. And I should have flashed Cho'Gath's what's it called? His knockup, his rupture, but I didn't. I couldn't really see what was going on in this team fight, so that didn't happen. And I'm happy to just tank this tower, and so we can get this inhib. Alternatively, we could have done Baron, and I think it wouldn't have been a bad idea either. These are both reasonable choices, so we're just trying to finish this up as soon as possible. And I'm pretty low though, so it's a little risky for us to do Baron. And is everyone back? Yeah, everyone on their team is back. So what we actually need to do is not attempt to do Baron, but try to go back right away so that they can't do Baron off us backing in. So that's just what we're doing. I should have actually gone back towards my teammates. And once this happens, I go in right away. So, yeah. And then I get killed by, I think, a Nunu. No, I got killed by an Annie, her fireball thing. So here we're just trying to, if I had gone towards our team, like through this way, I think we would definitely have gotten a kill without me dying, because I could have kited through the bush. Tariq, I think he like flashed over here, and this isn't actually the worst thing in the world. He's like wasting their time, so they can't do Baron off of that. And they're all pretty low, so I think it would have been challenging for them to do it. Let's see if I can go back here. Okay, for some reason my up button wasn't working there. And here they can't really do Baron off of this, so that's good. They lost 2 players. They lost their Garen and Annie, so it's really risky for them to attempt to do Baron, even though they have a Vayne and a Nunu. I don't know what I guess he's waiting for an item or something. One mistake I've been making in this game is I don't buy enough wards, so everyone really does need to buy wards. Don't think just because you're like the carry or because you're mid or top or something like that, you don't need to buy wards. You really do need to buy wards. It like helps your team out a lot. And even though like the Sidestone helped out your let's see if I don't even know if he has it. I'll have to check when he responds. Does he have Sidestone? Yeah, so he has the Ruby Sidestone. Even though that helps out a lot with your team in warding, it's you know, everyone else does need to take up some share of the warding. That doesn't mean you have to buy like 10 wards every second, but like you should take up some of the slack in warding, because it's good for you. Like it'll save you gold and deaths and all that sort of stuff, so it's pretty important. We don't actually have complete vision on Baron, so they could have snuck in here, and that would have also again probably cost us the game. And you know, like a lot of times another mistake that people will make is they'll see, oh, this guy's like isolated, but he's actually not. Like he looks isolated, but you don't know where their team is, and they'll come, like they'll usually respond if you try to all like dive on this guy, and he's like very tanky. So you just have to be aware of that. Here again, this is the power of oracles, is that it lets you force them to come to Baron, and you can just camp these bushes. As soon as we see them, we need to back out right away, and then just try to go in on them. So they're pretty split here. And unfortunately, our easy gets split as well. This is like a good position for us if we can focus down Annie. But as you see, that easy gets focused down and just dies basically. So we're gonna get it's a 3 for 3, and we should have just backed out here. There's like no way we could have killed him. Like we're attempting to do that, and as soon as we actually, that would have been the best if we just said, okay. He's wasted his ulti, and that's gonna, like, we can't get away. And here they're doing the right thing, which is to kite. Unfortunately, I couldn't really stick to Vayne, so we don't actually, all we get is her GA basically. And what I'm trying to do here is kite Garen and then dive back in on Vayne as soon as I can, but I was too low. So like again, that was like, we turned what was a fine fight because Easy got caught basically, into a bad fight. So it was like a 3v3, and we gave him an inhibitor when we didn't need to. The next item I'm actually going to get is a Warden's Mail because, as you can see, I have 3 aggressive items. This one, obviously, both of these give me some defense in that they all give me armor, and this one gives me health. So like I do have like, it's not like completely aggressive items, but I really do need like a more defensive item. And although Annie does do a fair amount of damage, she's not nearly as fed as Vayne, and doesn't have as much damage as she does, and Garen does obviously AD. So just take a couple seconds and try to think what you would do in this situation. So you see Vayne is very low, and Garen is out here. So I think the best thing to do here is to take Baron. And the reason for that is because Vayne is just not going to be able to fight. Okay, this was... I'll bring that up in a second. What he should have done there is that Vayne is just not going to be able to get here in time. So if we all go to Baron right away, instead of like Easy doing this, we're definitely going to get the Baron. So that was just an obvious play, I think. And you'll get better at calling plays, and you'll see how much of a difference it makes in team fights. Another nice thing is this wall that Anivia has, in that it's going to split their team up so they can't really fight. Here, it's very important that we focus down Annie, because she, like her bear, is like pretty significant. And the next thing we really need to do is focus down Vayne. Here, I can't really do anything until I get more health or something, because I'm just too low. If I tried to go in on Garen or something like that, I would have just died. So what I should have actually done was gone here right away. And I tried to flash over this wall. I needed to be a little bit closer to it to flash over it. So that was just a mistake on my part. And I see that Easy's going to probably get the kill, but I run up just to make sure that we secure it. And I say, okay, we can win right now. So I tell my team to just push in and go for the win. And the reason that you can know you can win is, one, you've got an ace, obviously, so that makes it a lot more obvious. But everyone has like a 30-second death timer besides Annie. And we have 4, and we have the AD carry. So you know that you can get both of their turrets down before anyone else is going to get back up again. So that's just something you should keep in mind, that, okay, I don't need to like take these turrets. I can actually win at this point. So knowing when you can win is pretty important. Once I see that Taric has stunned Annie, I make sure we go in on him. And we didn't need to do that. I would have been much preferred to like get these turrets down. So that's a mistake that people sometimes make at the very end of the game, that they want to get more kills and don't realize that they can finish out the game. But once I saw the sun land on him, I made sure that I follow up on that. So I hope you enjoyed this game, and I will provide more replays probably today or tomorrow or the day after. So don't forget to like, rate, and subscribe.